Hello, hello. Welcome on into another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're going to be drinking some Heaven Hill product. We have their bottled and bond, we have their 6-year-old discontinued, and we have the 7-year-old replacement.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to catch all of our upcoming videos.
Alright, so Heaven Hill is the first time we're actually covering these guys. They was founded in 1935. It's just the only family-owned major distillery that we're in America currently still. It's by the Sarra family, which basically started as Russian immigrants that came through New Orleans, and then eventually during after Prohibition, he had 5 children, and they got together with some investors and they bought Heaven Hill, and I guess the investors had to back out, so they bought all the shares, so they have all of Heaven Hill, and they still do this day, and they still run it. So they currently actually have 2 distilleries, which is the Heaven Hill one, which had a big fire in '96, which we'll get to in a minute, and then which is DSP 31, DSP 1, which is the Bernheim distillery, which they bought out in '99 from Diageo to replace the one that burned down. So kind of important to have a distillery. So anyway, it is the 6th largest spirits maker in America and the 2nd most for whiskey. And let's see. So basically, some of the other cool things are they have two 70-foot column stills at the Bernheim distillery. That's a freaking huge still. I can't even imagine to see that someday. They have 1.6 million barrels of whiskey currently aging, which is a lot of friggin' whiskey.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's named for the spring that runs through it. It was originally, which was the original water source, and their first barrel was filled December 13th, 1935. And the original product was actually this product, which was a 4-year bottle and bond, Heaven Hill. It was called Old Heaven Hill at the time. Now it's just Heaven Hill, which is pretty cool. So that fire I was talking about, that happened in '96. It went hundreds of feet in the air. The creek was on fire for 2 miles straight. 7 warehouses burned. 90,000 barrels were gone. There was 2% of the world's bourbon at the time. That's a big freaking fire.
That hurts.
So it makes the other fires that we've had recently look kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered. I mean, 7 warehouses burned to the ground.
2% of the world's whiskey.
That's insane.
That hurts my heart.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's
nuts.
crazy. But good news is, good family runs it. Apparently, they're pretty awesome to work for. People seem to work there pretty much for life once they work there, so which is really cool. Okay, so this one is the 6th year that it was discontinued. It's a bottle and bond, which basically it means 1 distillery, 1 distillation season. It's got to be at least 4 years old in a bonded warehouse, exactly 100 proof. And also, and the other thing I thought was interesting is you also have to have the DSP number of where it was made and where it was bottled. So this is one of the few that has both because they're old. They still do all the bottling, and their heritage and their warehouses are still at the old distillery at 31. But everything's made at 1 at Bernheim. So which is kind of a cool thing.
Interesting.
So the mash bill on this is 78% corn, 12 barley, and 10 rye, and it's charcoal filtered right before bottling, and it was Kentucky only. So that's the good news is we're going to get it everywhere else, but this was $12. So we'll compare this one, then we'll go to the other one. We'll talk about the price in the next one. So let's get into the nosing and tasting.
Well, before we do that, getting into the nosing and tasting, if this is a replacement, are they the same mash bill for both of them?
Yes. Same mash bill
So we're
except for a
talking
year
about a
old.
1-year difference.
Correct. So the funny thing is, when the 6-year disappeared magically, a year later, a 7-year appeared. Surprised how that worked out.
Surprised how that works.
Right.
Interesting. The 6-year smells
Like a typical bourbon.
like a classic bourbon.
Yeah. Vanilla, oak, cherry, cinnamon.
Corn is the dominant grain.
Definitely corn, yeah. You got your baking spices.
Apple,
There's a high pitch in there.
Yeah, there's a strong
little bit of
apple
rye.
in there.
honey, caramel, a touch of thin maple syrup, at a cheap diner.
At a cheap diner.
So what is this? It's like that. Like you go to Denny's and sometimes give you that crappy syrup that's not very good.
It's not even warm.
Yeah, not even warm. That one. Yeah, it's
And
like
yet
that.
still really thin.
Yeah, it's still really thin. Exactly. That's what it smells like. It's also got a fig Newton and a hint of smoke. And it's probably the char, really, but it's a little smoky in there.
Yeah, I get a slight smoke on it, but it's not overwhelming at all.
No, it's not. It's a hint, but it's there.
Yeah, I don't get anything really special out of this.
No, hey, it's $12.
Yeah. It smells pretty good for
I think
$12.
for $12, I think this smells amazing.
Yeah.
For the price. Tastes more like $12 though.
Tastes more like $12. It tastes really thin to me. It's thin
Yeah.
over my palate. It's not really.
Especially for 100 proof.
It's not
really
the best
thin.
mouthfeel that I've ever had for a $12 whiskey. I mean,
Not the
Not
worst.
the worst
it's not the
mouthfeel I've had.
worst, but
I would say this is one of the better.
Yeah, for $12, I think it's probably a great
$12.
whiskey for the money. It's great.
Again, typical bourbon notes on the mouth as well. I do get that slight smoke, a little bit more on the taste than I did on the nose. But besides that, it's typical bourbon.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
char characteristic does come through on the palate a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. It's more. The funny thing, oak is the more prominent thing in the flavor than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
For
I
me,
get
it
the
is.
char. I get that.
It's an oaky char, but it's got your vanilla, cinnamon. It's
Same
thin.
spices,
Apple
brown
pie.
sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple pie crust.
Yeah.
Little
I mean, I
strudel.
would just say the whole apple pie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some appley tendencies in there, but with the
Some
brown
cherry
sugar
and caramel. Yeah. It's you're right. It's just a big pie.
Put some water in it?
I didn't.
Not yet? Or are you gonna compare them first?
Yeah, I want to compare them first. I like that idea.
Okay. Well, it's good.
It's not bad for $12.
It's not bad. I mean, for $12, I'd buy it all day.
Right.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yeah, Sarah wasn't drinking bourbon when I was going through the bottom shelf stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
She wasn't touching those bourbons at all. She didn't enjoy that. So this is a better $12 bourbon for sure.
Yeah, because I mean,
Or I guess it was.
It
yeah. Since unfortunately it was Kentucky only, was the other issues with it, which is
Yeah.
why they went to the 7-year to get it out distribution and
Right.
price. Because the only one we get in Texas is the 80 proof Heaven Hill,
Right.
which not great. We'll review it at some point, but yeah, that'll definitely be a bottom shelf one for sure. It's like $14 for a 175.
We can do a bottom shelf night.
Yeah, for real. So okay, so let's move on to the 7-year, which is the replacement for it. Same thing. It's bottled on 7 years, 100 proof. It's the same exact mash bill with 78% corn, 12 barley, 10 rye. So only difference really theoretically should be a year.
Yeah, and that year on the nose makes me, I don't know. I can smell the difference in the year and the nose.
Yeah.
It's richer.
Right. It
Is
smells
richer.
thicker and more viscous.
Yes.
And we know it's the same proof, so it's.
Same mash.
And I assume same warehouse, but I couldn't find where it said if it was different warehouses or anything. But I would assume they've, since like I said, it came out a year later.
Yep.
More than likely it's the same barrels. It's just left there another year.
Right.
See, the oak is not as prominent on the nose.
No.
It's more honey and cherry on the nose.
Yeah, that smokiness doesn't come out as
Uh-uh.
much, which is odd to me because
You think with
you'd
it being
think
older, it would, but
have
it's
a little bit,
totally
yeah.
tamped down.
Yeah. The apple is still there, but like Matt said, there's a lot more cherry in this one.
Yeah, I agree
Definitely.
with that.
More cinnamon and mint as well. I'd say less vanilla, much less.
That high pitched rye ding is in there.
I
Yeah.
get the mint to it,
You get-
like it's
yeah.
almost like one of those Andes mints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little chocolatey with those. Green apple, caramel.
I'm going in. I have enough of that nose. Yeah, the mouthfeel is definitely better. It's you can tell the difference in the year on that alone. It's not as thin feeling in the mouth. Coats it a
No.
lot more, a lot richer. There are similar flavors going on there, but I agree it's amped up on a lot of the fruity flavors in there. It's like chocolate to it as well, for me at least.
Mm-hmm. And that barrel char
The char's not there.
isn't very present at all.
No. So, and again, that's odd to me.
Well, these are. I'm just thinking like these are pretty darn significantly different.
It's amazing what a
They're
year
lot-
difference there is on that.
They're a lot more different than I assumed they were going
Yeah.
to be.
Same here.
It's more oily, I think, too, and more heavy caramel. The oak is there, but your caramel, honey, and cinnamon spices are more prominent.
Yeah, it's definitely richer.
It's got clove as well.
It's just so amazing what a year can do.
Yeah, vanilla and some cherry. Oh, warm leather. Yeah, there's warm leather in it now that wasn't, I don't believe, in the other one. And tobacco.
And see, I get more of a chocolate than those.
All right, now let's compare time.
William just watered his.
All right, so what do you think on the water on both?
No, go ahead and start comparing because I'm gonna let this sit for a second while y'all are going back and forth.
The nose is much stronger.
Much
on the 7.
stronger on the 7, and I enjoy it a lot more.
It's thin. It's really thin on the 6.
Yeah, on the nose, even before you were to taste it, you can tell the thinness on the nose.
Which is so weird considering the same proof. It's amazing what that difference in year did. Now, the difference in price.
Yeah. Let's talk about
$40 to $45 now, too.
Oh, wow.
So is it really worth another year to 3 times the price? Or actually more, 3.5 times the price?
Well, to be honest,
A significantly better whiskey.
it's significantly better whiskey. And yes, this is a $12 bottle, and it tastes like a $12 bottle.
True.
This tastes like almost a $50 bottle.
True.
I mean, if you were going to look at it from that aspect of
Right.
it.
Yeah, now, this will eventually be in all 50 states, but it only rolled out in a few, Texas being one of the ones. The funny thing is, it didn't go to Kentucky at all first. We got it here in Texas first. Texas got it in California.
Because they were
New
hogging
York,
all
and
that.
No, that's true. Not like you got nothing to drink in Kentucky, so.
That's true.
You still got plenty of stuff that's.
You know, could they go to the
Kentucky.
distillery and get it?
I don't know. I don't know if you can or not. That's a good question.
You know, I mean, if they're not going to produce or do mass production of it in
They will.
Kentucky first,
Yeah.
can't go to the stores to buy it, but can you go to the store to buy it?
A drop of water in the original actually amped up the flavors a little bit.
Really?
Things kind of came alive a little bit more. I actually think that the drop of water in the original was kind of the way to go with that one.
Needed.
Yeah. Ooh. And on the 7-year, same thing. A drop of water actually helps, separates oils. A little bit of a longer finish, a little bit more of a viscous, even more viscous mouthfeel. It's good.
All right.
Yeah, the 7 is significantly better.
It is.
It is.
Is it 3 times the price better?
That's debatable.
That's going to be subjective and debatable, I'm sure. But
Well, I mean, you
2
can't,
times
you
the
can't
price,
get
I
this
would
one
say yes.
anymore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, now, they do make a 90 proof, which we'll cover in another video, that is a 6-year, that is still made, but it's also Kentucky only.
Right.
So, but we do
Of course
have
it
it, so we
is.
can review it, so it's no big deal. But
I think they're both priced exactly as they should be, personally. I think they're both worth what they're priced.
There's plenty of non-7 years that are $50 or $45 or $40 that are nowhere near as good.
I agree.
So,
yeah, I agree with that too.
if you compare
completely
from an
agree.
overall market standpoint, it's probably the right price.
Right.
It just sucks going from a 12 to a 40 comparable difference. But
Right.
the rest of the country's going to get it now, so can we really complain that much? Not really.
We're paying for that shipping, apparently.
Yeah, for real. Just kidding. It's still
That's
$12. The
Lot of
shipping is another $28, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks,
we
Kentucky.
got it closer to you. You don't have to come all the way to Kentucky now. That's
Right.
what they're thinking.
There you go.
You know, because who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and drop us a comment below. Until next time,
Keep on crusading for better whiskey in your glass.
cheers. Yeah.